Let's get it, man.
Welcome to another episode of It's Debatable NBA Edition. I'm your host, Justin Jones, here with co host Seb. We just gonna get right into it. I seen an interview that I believe went down yesterday, right? Zion Williamson was on NBA Today. They spoke about a lot of different things. When did he feel like his best years was in the NBA? How does he feel about the criticism to his game, the 2028 Olympics, this, that, and the third. I think that's a dope conversation. Yeah, definitely go check that out. It's out on YouTube right now. But let's talk a little bit about Zion Williamson, right? So much hype just from high school going to Duke. Man, we all remember him busting out the shoes, doing 360 dunks, this, that, and the third. His NBA career thus far has been hit or miss. Do you still feel, though, Zion Williamson can be a franchise cornerstone player in today's NBA right now?
Nope. Nope. I don't, because health is going to always determine that. And just what he's able to do on the floor is going to determine that too. I think that Zion Wilson, the game hasn't grown since being in the NBA. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like, I don't think his shooting has gotten better. I don't think like there's nothing new that's been added to his game. I feel like he's been stagnant in his game this far because he's never really had a full season to take away what he could do on the court. I feel like every time he gets back on the court, it's just the same version of him that we see. Like, there's nothing new to his game. We haven't seen him work on a post jump shot, a 3 points, but like, you know what I'm saying? There hasn't been nothing
Is
development.
that what he's meant to do?
What?
You're saying there's nothing new, let's look at a Shaquille O'Neal, right? He was meant to be dominant inside the paint and just be that, right? That dominant, right? Enforcer. Zion Williamson went on the court, right? We seen him damn near dominate a Victor Wembanyama. Not saying that made Victor look like a bitch, but can drive to the basket, can dominate from the inside. Is how, like, what do you want him to do? Like, you want him to start shooting threes? Like, what do you feel his game is now missing?
His game is missing touch outside of the rim, like a little bit outside, like a little 10 footers, 15 footers, even just a little bit on the 3 point line. Though I think that's something that was him back to. Because what we talking about these injuries don't come from just you know out of nowhere. Though you're brute force in the getting into the paint, and that takes a toll on your body after a while. Everybody know athleticism. It's cool for your first couple of years in the league, but after a while, you're gonna have to add something more to your athleticism to sustain being in this league so you don't fill up with injuries and stuff like that. I think that's what's more so important. That's why I said for his game to be like a transitional, a franchise player, it's gonna have to be more than just what he does on the court. It's gonna have to be a little bit more touch, maybe a little more floaters, maybe just elevating just the IQ of his game. I'm not saying he doesn't have IQ; he has a good feel for the game though. But every time I watch Zion, it's not like, oh, this is something new added to his game. There's been points in time in the interviews where his teammates are telling him that, oh, yo, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. In his mind, it's psychological because he's saying, I don't want to shoot the ball because if I miss, I'm gonna be mad. But you know what I'm saying, though? To be that next level player, to be that transcendent player, you're going to have to shoot the ball. Like, even if you don't shoot at a high rate, though, you're gonna have to make defense believe that you could at least knock down a couple of shots in order to get this going. I'm not saying you have to be the best 3 point shooter though, but you have to add something to your game to make us believe that you are still that transcendent star that can change your franchise around. And quite frankly, though, I don't know if it's just the Pelicans. I don't know if it's just a curse organization though, but I don't know if it's because I feel like that because of like it's just the Pelican team or him on the Pelicans though. But I feel like it wouldn't change anywhere else, in my opinion.
So you're saying no other franchise you see him on is gonna change what he could do on the court. He's not a top two, top three championship player on a championship team, you're saying.
Maybe three. I'll give him. He could be the third best option on the championship team because I just think that with health concerns and just what he's able to do on the floor, I haven't seen Zion Williamson ever play in the playoff game. So I can't even tell you what he's fully capable of doing though. But from what we've seen with the sample size I've seen thus far in the regular season games, teams would adjust to that in the playoff just like that, in my opinion. So I take it as it is.
Right. Okay. Shout out to Zion. I think this all just predicates, something you kind of spoke about on his health. I think if he is on the court, I think that he can still be a dominant player. But there's just so many ifs, right? We talk about this with so many players, right? The Joel Embiid of the world, right? Even the John Morants of the world, the Luka Doncic of the world, that when they're healthy and they're engaged, they're some of the best players that we've ever seen. But when they're not engaged, and when we hear them more in the media for things off the court than on the court, it just becomes a problem. But hearing him talk in the interview, it does seem like he's invested. Us as fans, we're all gonna have our opinions. The media is gonna have their opinions, but we don't really know what happens behind closed doors, right? He spoke a lot about, right, that he had doctors telling him that his foot never may be the same. So I just hope that he can be healthy. I didn't even realize that he had like a damn near a 30 game stretch this season to where he was playing. Like he just fell, so far off everyone's radar that a highlight like that, it just doesn't really matter to most people. So shout out to Zion. I do feel a change of scenery is just necessary, right? That's something we also spoke about with the John Morant, right? I do think they're both talented players, but I just feel like, everything has, I say this all the time, everything in life has an expiration date, and sometimes you just gotta move on. Right, and it is tough to do that, right? I feel like he's so used to just being in New Orleans, but sometimes you just gotta have a fresh start to sort of just save your career, right? So shout out to Zion. I think if he can just stay healthy, I think he can still be a top two, top three player on a championship team. Um, Another thing, right, that I wanted to speak about, the Boston Celtics, right? It has been rumored that Jason Tatum, possibly there has been some rumors that he could make his NBA return against the Dallas Mavericks this Friday. Um, do you feel if Jason Tatum does come back this Friday, how do you feel this new team looks with him just on it? And do you feel it is the right move to bring him back right now at this point in the season?
Um, how I feel about the to answer your two-part question, how I feel about the team, how it would look for this team. I think it would be a plus to get a Jason Tatum. Even if he's not fully 100%, maybe if you get a 87% Jason Tatum, that's still better than a lot of teams 100%. So I think right now, it has team morale. Joe Mazzulla would put Jason Tatum in the best space possible in order to succeed, whether it be minutes restrictions, whether it be like, not getting the full amount of touches though. But with modern NBA signs, I think that if they say he's ready to go, you should be ready to go. And I don't knock it. I think Jason Tatum has been putting in like twice as amount of work as anybody that's been doing Achilles tear to get back on the floor. And I think if he wants it, then and everybody says he's all clear to go, I don't see nothing that's limiting him. By all means, go for it too. This is just going to boost the team's morale. You already have a team that's sitting second place in the East that could possibly get back to where they was in being NBA champions. That would be a great story for this Boston Celtics organization. But you do have your concerns though, just coming off an Achilles tear though. You don't want nothing to happen again though. But like I said, man, for this Boston Celtics team, though, it definitely adds more flavor, it adds more pizzazz. This is a team that's already hitting their stride within the season, winners of the last 12 out of their 14 games, though. So you do bring in a superstar player in Jason Tatum, NBA champion in Jason Tatum. It does help, though. So is it rushed? That's not for me to say. I think that if he's healthy and he could play, fuck it, man. Why not, man? I respect the player that's really putting in the work to get back on the court. That just shows a form of dedication. It shows a form of the love you have for the game, though, and I think that should be respected, no matter what happens out there. And I think that the Boston Celtics will be very cautious on how they, use Jason Tatum down in stress and ramping him up for the playoffs. But just mad respect, um, mad respect to Jason Tatum and for the organization for giving this a shot too. So I'm here for it though. So I'm actually here for it though.
Yeah, shout out to Jason Tatum. I do agree with a lot of your points. If he is cleared to go, then he should go. It's not like they're the 12th seed not playing for anything. Then I think it would be completely pointless for him to come back. I think a lot of what's going on, right, from a lot of NBA players, the media, even fans, is I think this Kevin Durant thing that happened, right? We seen Kevin Durant try to come back from, his Achilles injury and him just, sustaining another injury in that NBA finals. And,
I thought it was
he
what was it? A calf strain that usually leads. I think that's what it be for a lot of these players. The calf strains jump right into
right,
the.
right, right. Right. I'm just saying like just him trying to rush back and then he just sustained another injury. I think that's what is in a lot of people's mind. But who knows if they went to the same doctor? Who knows if their, rehab was the same? I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes and all that. I definitely think he is going to come back though, just based how the NBA is just kind of like sort of pushing this story, right? I think it was the other day, they had the Celtics going up against the 76ers on what is it? On NBC? Like what's that thing, right?
Yeah, NBC.
Right. So and they're doing this whole docu series on it. So I think it would be strange then if they didn't bring him back. Um this all is just on Jason Tatum. If anyone knows Jason Tatum's body, it's Jason Tatum. If he feels he's ready to go and he really thinks this Celtics team can make a championship push, which I do think inserting him back will help do that. But then you gotta look on the other side of a Jalen Brown. Do you think that affects Jalen Brown in a negative way? We seen the type of NBA season that he's having, MVP candidate, damn near averaging 30 a night. Do you feel that Jalen Brown's game could be affected with Jason Tatum returning? Really, as that number one guy, he's kind of been his whole career with the Celtics.
That's true. I think though there's well, even a blind man can see that this year Jalen Brown is and will still be the first option in this case scenario. I don't think there's no indications that we are gonna pivot away from Jalen Brown this late into the season too. So I think where this comes from is now finding where Jason Tatum fits into all this. And it's gonna make sense though, because it's gonna be a little bit less more shot taking. Maybe you take your ass to the corner a couple of times though. We get you ramped up on some corner threes though. Then we give you some possessions where you get your isolation working. We see where your bag work is at. And then we ramp that up though. But either way, this is a team that already won a championship together, so they already have that chemistry. So I don't think nothing's really gonna change though, because we still had the fact that Jalen Brown was a Finals MVP, was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP though, so they know how to play together. That's not gonna change, in my opinion though. I just think that just getting Jason Tatum more involved is going to be interesting. And it's going to be interesting now though, because they sort of have the same formula of when they won the championship with a stretch big in the Vucevic of the world. Um, the big man in Cater that can crash the boards and really just help them out there. They have a team that's rolling right now. The rookie Hugo Gonzalez, I've been sort of a fan of just watching him for these past couple of weeks. I feel like he fits the mold of what they're trying to do. They have a team already though, so there's going to be no egos to the table, no hidden agendas. They're going to be as transparent as what they need from Jason Tatum and what Jason Tatum needs in order to help him get back into just the flow of things though. So it's going to be an open line of communication between him. I think Joe Mazzulla is going to be the one to set this thing straight in order to get this to float the boat rolling even more than it already is, though. This is somebody that we talk about, it could be a coach of the year candidate, somebody that's had to deal with adversity and managed to find himself in the second seed, though. So this is a this is a good organization. Then they'll find a way.
Yeah, so It's gonna be interesting to see if and when Jason Tatum does come back, and how does he integrate, himself back into this lineup, and how does he either help or hinder the momentum that the Celtics do have right now. Let's switch to the other conference, the Western Conference, and let's talk a little bit about the Minnesota Timberwolves. A team that I feel like when we talk about the powerhouses in the West, maybe doesn't get talked about enough, right? I know a lot of people talk about the OKCs of the world, the San Antonio Spurs, right? People may talk about the Denver Nuggets, but you have a Minnesota team, right, that can play on either side of the floor. We know what they can do defensively. We know they have a star with Anthony Edwards, but something interesting that I've seen, sort of the dynamic between him, Anthony Edwards, and Coach Finch, saying that he had to pass the ball one game and then the next play ends up hitting damn near the game winner. But then I seen the media ask Rudy Gobert, what is this team missing? And he's saying someone who can pass the ball. It's weird timing of all this. Just what do you make of that? And just how do you feel about Minnesota right now as we get closer to the playoffs?
Mind you, okay, yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up. I don't know. I don't understand where this is coming from. First of all, Coach Finch, no disrespect to you, but shut the fuck up. This is a superstar, Anthony Edwards. This is box office. This is must see TV. That's one. Two, I don't give a fuck what Rudy Gobert got to say about passing the ball though, because I've seen you smoke numerous layups. I've seen you do a fucking Euro. Right, Billion. I don't know what this nigga's talk about. We need somebody that passes the ball. Shut the fuck up, man. You're on a 3-game winning streak. You're looking good right now. You're tied for third in the fucking West right now, where you could possibly overtake the Rockets and be third. You just came off of 2 conference finals back to back, man. What are we talking about, man? Anthony Edwards is a transcendent superstar, in my opinion, though. He brings it every night. Y'all always compete with the best of the best teams in the West. And now we're going to talk about we need somebody that can pass the ball. Shut up. Shut up, man. Y'all are rolling right now, man. Nas Reed has found his swagger. Julius Randle is here and there. Like, what are we? Y'all just beat the Nuggets. Y'all just beat the Clippers. Y'all always handle the Blazers. That's nothing new though. Before that though, y'all rolling. Y'all are rolling. What's the issue here? Because you're not getting the ball enough to do what? What can Rudy Gobert possibly do with the ball? What can he do to help this team even more if he gets past the ball? You've been doing the same shit your whole career, which is dunking the fucking basketball. Rudy Gobert has not done nothing to elevate offensively this team. So what do you need to be passed the ball for? Let the people do the dirty work. Let the Nas Reeds of the world, the Jaden McDaniels, the Dante Demon, let them handle their business. If anything, you got a good pickup in Io DeSumo, who's flourishing over there, rather than being that shithole in fucking Chicago Bulls. He's actually providing something there. This team has looked relatively better. What are we talking about? What is Chris Finch talking about? I want the ball in my superstar's hand. Yes, I want the ball when the game's down the line. I'm not passing the ball to Julius Randle. I'm not passing the ball to Jaden McDaniels. I'm passing the ball to Anthony. No, I'm kicking the ball to Anthony Edwards. Make or miss, we're going home with an Anthony Edwards shot. And I've seen time and time again where Anthony Edwards has hit the most toughest shots, though, because he works on that. He puts in the work. There was just a clip of him last week working out with a fucking rookie. They say, yo, the team bus is about to leave. Fuck that. I'll take an Uber home because he works on his game 24/7. There's nothing Rudy Gobert does for this team that he deserves to be passed the ball more. Give me a fucking break, man. Give me a fucking break. Coach saying that is cool though, because he wants more team. He wants everybody to feel involved. He wants everybody to get into the mix of things though. That's cool. I have no problem with a coach saying that though. But in my mind, my superstar, we live and die by my superstar. He's the one that's put us in a very good position. He's the one that's helped us get to these 2 back-to-back conference finals. He is the main guy. So when he takes it out shot, y'all better go crash the board. Y'all better go box out and go get that rebound and go find a second chance opportunity, though, because that's the superstar I want taking a shot. That's who I'm most comfortable, unless he's triple teamed and there's an open man, by all means, cool. But if I'm comfortable with him taking a shot, and I've seen him make these shots numerous times before, hell no, I ain't passing the ball to Rudy Gobert. Hell fucking no, man. You miss me with that bullshit. Fuck out of here, man. Oh man, I seen that report too, and that shit pissed me all the way off. Because what do you mean, nigga, pass? You pass, nigga. You rebound and you kick out. Fuck is this nigga talking about passing the ball and never played a point guard day in his life? What is Rudy Gobert's career high in assists? Can't be no higher than 4. Talking about pass, nigga.
Rudy Gobert, we did see him eliminate the Lakers. My Lakers from the playoffs last year, I believe, had a 30-point double double game. Is he an X factor for this team?
Yes, defensively and crashing the boards though, but I'm not looking for Rudy Gobert to score more. What like we just seen a confirmation of him not being able to score on small guards, man. What what in his right mind think that we should be passing the ball more, and especially to him? First of all, you don't have no post moves that you can remember. You're most effectively when you're in a dunker spot. The most I've seen him do is hit a crazy ass mid range shot against Jokic in the game 7 of the second round. But other than that, though, I don't know, man. That just pissed me off, though. I have a million other people I'd rather pass to on this team. I'd rather pass to Joe Ingles. I'd rather pass to Ayo Sumu. I'd rather pass to Bones Highland, who's actually found himself and is flourishing in his role as the backup point guard for this team. There's a
Right.
lot of people I'd rather pass to besides Rudy Gobert, though. Unless your brightest day open, then no. What? Why are you coming out? Why are you saying this?
Well,
Why?
the media asked him, "What is this team missing?" I don't think he just came out like on Twitter and said, "I want someone to pass me the ball." The media did, and what do you feel this team is missing? Now, maybe he should have just said, "Maybe we do need a point guard," seeing that we lost Mike Conley, but I don't know if that would have been a shot to Dusumo. But I don't know, man. Shout out to Rudy Gobert, man. Um I can only say so much about the man, but shout out to him. Shout out to Minnesota. I do think it's a team that, just depending on matchups, once again, I think this whole Western Conference, because I don't feel there's a definitive Titan in the Western Conference, right? And I always go back to the days when, the Golden State Warriors, when they had Kevin Durant, Clay, and Curry, and you didn't really feel like another team could beat them 4 times in a playoff series. I think that OKC is a threat. I think Denver is a threat. I think Houston is a threat. I think the Lakers is a threat. I think there's so many Minnesota. I think there's so many teams that if you just get the right matchup and if health swings your way, I think all these teams could have a puncher's chance to get to a finals. But speaking about, you know, another team in the West. Let's talk just to end the show. The Denver Nuggets. I had watched that game over the weekend that just passed when they faced the Oklahoma City Thunder. Great game. Um, Jokic, man, looked like he turned possessed after Lou Dort hit him hit him with hit him with that, cheap shot, right? Hit him with that hip. That's a move that, I would have did back in the day. Um just shout out to Jokic, man. Shout out to the Nuggets. OKC did end up getting the win. I feel like, just speaking about that game exactly, as we got closer and closer down the stretch, I feel like Jokic got tired. Murray couldn't really knock down some of these tough shots that he is accustomed of making. But besides them two, I didn't really see that offense coming from anywhere else too consistently. Right, this is a team that traded away Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. I don't really feel he's had the type of season that he was supposed to be having. Not saying he's been a scrub or anything like that, but once again, this is someone you gave away Michael Porter Jr. for, and then you got Michael Porter Jr. over there on the Nets, averaging about 24 a night and looking like one of the better scorers in the league. Right, you still got the Tim Hardaway Juniors of the world that does his thing. You still got the Bruce Browns of the world, but do you feel the Denver Nuggets or where they're supposed to be right now in the season? Just do you feel the same way you felt going into the season, how you feel right now about them?
No. And this is a team that I had making out the West though, and I'm gonna still stick by that take. I just think that right now they're not flourishing. And I think one of the main reasons why for it, and this might sound crazy though, but they're missing their X factor. And I've said it time and time again. Aaron Gordon has been their X factor for quite some time. And I think that just what he's able to do out there on the floor with just his floor spacing, as well as being able to pass out of the dunker spot, as well as being able to finish in the dunker spot, he was a pivotal piece for them. and you just don't find an Aaron Gordon like that each and every day though. So I get the Spencer Jones of the world that they try to ingratiate into this lineup, the Cam Johnsons, but they're just not Aaron Gordon though. And for somebody that's missed a lot of time though, it's definitely hurt them though because he's part of that championship core. I like the work I've seen from guys like Bruce Brown, um, Tim Hardaway Jr., who has had special spots in this season too as well. But I just think that when you're going against these upper echelon teams within the Minnesota Timberwolves, within the OKC, within the San Antonio Spurs, you're gonna need all the help you can get. And Aaron Gordon is a pivotal piece for them, in which that they're going to need in this playoff run in order to be successful and even think about making it to the conference finals, though, because we all know as the West goes on, the rounds get tougher, and you're just gonna need every bits and pieces that you have. And right now, for this team, right now, I believe they're sitting fourth or fifth, and this is a team right now that is not playing their best basketball. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Currently, right now, they are sitting fifth, so they would have a 4-5 matchup against the Timberwolves, and I don't think that's a matchup that they willingly want to see because the Timberwolves for quite some time now has their number though. I don't know what is it about them and just their play style though, but they make Jokic work for everything offensively and defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Nuggets end off their season though. I definitely think that they're going to need a sign. If this is a sign now that they need Aaron Gordon, this is more than enough time to really say that we are really missing Aaron Gordon and just what he's able to provide. And he's dealt with injuries numerous times throughout his career though, so this is something that I wouldn't say is alarming, but it is alarming at the same time though, because now he's missed for how many games? I believe he missed like at least 30 games now. I've seen Aaron Gordon play basketball in God knows how long. And I don't know if there's any timeable return. Let's see right now. When is Aaron Gordon coming back to the Nuggets? And let me just read a quick report. He's been dealing with a hamstring strain since late January, has been ruled out of Sunday. Out. Payne Watson's been out too. So this is a team that's been dealing with injuries though. So I guess there's no timeable return. I try to find a little quick information about that, but there's been no timeable return for Aaron Gordon though. But I think if the Nuggets are going to even have a chance, a puncher's chance of doing something special, Aaron Gordon has got to be on that floor.
Yeah, health is always an X factor. People always say in the playoffs, the healthiest team always prevails. As great as Jokic is, triple double threat can affect the game in so many ways. Jamal Murray, I think, as we get into the playoffs, he's known for making big shots. I've seen him dismantle my Los Angeles Lakers so many times that I can't disrespect him. But it's just gonna come down to the others, right? The Cam Johnsons of the world who will not be let off the hook. I don't care about all these podcasts you're doing and all that. You need to perform. All right? Because right now it's looking like they lost that trade. Michael Porter Jr. looks healthy and he just looks way better, right? The Bruce Browns of the world, the Tim Hardaway Jr.'s, when the Peyton Watson does come back, the Aaron Gordons, they're going to have to perform because if it was a 4-5 matchup, to your point, I think the X factor in that series would be Anthony Edwards, and I don't think they got nobody they could put on him just throughout that series that's gonna trouble Anthony Edwards enough to not be that definitive factor. So once again, come down to matchups and health within this Western Conference, right? So shout out to the Nuggets. Once again, I just love seeing Jokic with that passion that he had, man, and looking like he was just about to kill somebody. Um definitely is, one of them Serbians who don't play around. So that's gonna do it though for this episode of It's Debatable NBA edition. Man, we wanted to get another episode out for y'all as things start to percolate within the NBA. I believe we do have a prime time matchup about to start up right now between the San Antonio Spurs and the Philadelphia 76ers. So definitely go be sure to go check that out. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Let us know how you feel about the NBA right now. Who do you think is the MVP? Who do you have winning the championship? Who do you feel? I don't know where that just came from, but how do y'all feel about everything, man? Follow us on all social media platforms at It's Debatable double underscore. Follow me at Justin Jones on Facebook for details and developments. And what I don't know what the fuck I just said. I be having these chess moments, but y'all already know what it is, man. If you'll see somebody like Sep on your lawn, do not be afraid to use your firearms. We out, man.
One more thing.
Free Geechee.
Hey, Kevin Durant. Don't you wish you came to the Knicks? We out of here, man.
Yo, 7.